There's something about this little boy that has everyone talking. And when you're a royal, that means there's bound to be some controversy. Hi, good morning. I'm here in the very heart of London. Thanks for joining me today. It's lovely to have your company. I hope you're all keeping well. Nice to see you too. Thank you so much for your kind comments about the ties and, of course, the lanyards. Yes, they're going down very well, but we've sold out already. Don't worry, though, because we're doing another drop very soon, so keep your eyes peeled if you do want one of those. And as ever, it's interesting, isn't it? With the lanyard, I love this idea. You can wear it around your neck, or indeed put it around your wrist like a bracelet. A lot of people have been doing that, which is very interesting. Back as ever, though, to your breaking roll story of the day. Now, it seems that there are rumblings in the very senior echelons of the British monarchy about the way that Prince George is turning out, and more importantly, the way that he's being brought up. So we know both Kate and William are very keen to ensure that their 3 children lead as normal a life as possible. We saw that over the Christmas period when they took the children to see the very much acclaimed pantomime at the London Palladium. Cinderella. Lovely to see that. They all seem to be enjoying themselves, including, of course, Prince Louis, who was looking very grown up. But it was Prince George who really got a lot of attention because apparently he was being rather naughty. Can you imagine? That's what happens when you leave school at 16, allegedly. Apparently he's doing rather well, according to a very good source, and as ever, we have to say here on the show, allegedly within palace walls. There's a bit of a debate about whether or not Prince George is allowed to just get on with things, whether he should be left alone. You know, he's nearly 19 now, but he's still a child, of course. But this particular source says that there's a bit of a rumble about the way that Prince George is turning out. Whether he's quite so cheeky, whether he's allowed to be so cheeky. Now, as we know with the British monarchy, this doesn't happen overnight. This doesn't happen quickly. And if there are any issues, they're addressed very slowly indeed. But apparently there are people within the senior ranks of the British monarchy who feel that Prince George is getting away with too much. And let's not forget that Prince George is third in line to the throne, a future king of England, allegedly, of course. There are certain things that are expected of him. What's interesting here, though, is that while Prince Harry was known as the naughty one, always getting into trouble, always the tearaway, it's interesting that it's now Prince George who is seemingly following that path. What's interesting here, though, is a lot of people might say it's simply teenage high spirits. And as we know, both Catherine and William were very naughty as teenagers. Let's not forget that. Both of them have admitted that publicly. But this particular source says that some people within the palace walls feel that Prince George is getting away with too much. When you think about it, though, he's nearly 19. He's at university. It's perfectly natural that young men of that age, even young ladies of that age, will get into mischief. But it's the way that the British monarchy operates. There are certain things that are expected of you, especially if you're third in line to the throne. Now, currently, Prince George is taking a gap year, as we know, before he goes to university. Good for him. I think that's a wonderful thing to do. And apparently he's already secured a job with the time that he has spent working in a pub. So again, good for him. It's nice to see that he's getting some sort of grounding and making sure that he understands the value of money. Of course he does understand that, but it's how you earn it. And it's perfectly natural for someone of his age to be out there working, seeing what life is really about. However, as we've said, this particular source says that there are a few raised eyebrows within palace walls. Now, it's very hard to know where this story came from because obviously, as we often say here on the show, the British monarchy don't speak about these things. But what is interesting here is that there are a few people who are questioning the way that Prince George is being brought up. As we know, Catherine and William are very relaxed parents. They take the children to see, of course, the shows like Trolls and Lego. They like to do things very much as a family unit. But it's this informality that is causing some concern. As ever, though, it's about balance, isn't it? You have to be able to guide your children, make sure that they understand the pitfalls that lay ahead, especially if they're going to be working royals. And also, you have to allow them to grow up. You have to let them make mistakes, but you have to guide them along the way. So while some people may raise an eyebrow at the way that Prince George is being brought up, I think that William and Catherine are doing a fantastic job. And as we've seen with their 3 children, they are very happy. Obviously, Prince Harry wasn't allowed that freedom. And it's interesting to note that both Harry and Meghan have said recently that they were encouraged to compete against one another. That was the case with Harry and William, but it's not the case with Catherine. She was encouraged to look after William. This is the problem, really, when you think about it, when you're third in line to the throne. People expect you to behave in a certain way, but the world has changed, hasn't it? We live in a much more fast-paced world. People do question things. The British monarchy has to adapt, as we often say here on the show, but it's the way that they bring up their children that will be the true reflection of how the monarchy moves forward. You know, I think it's perfectly natural for Prince George to get into a bit of mischief. After all, he's only young. And whatever people think, whether they like Prince George or not, he is still a child. You know, we shouldn't forget that. Now, if you are one of those people who think that Prince George is getting away with too much, let me know in the comments below. But I think that overall, he's doing a fantastic job. And whatever people think, it's clear to see that both Catherine and William are doing a great job as parents. It's interesting to note also that, of course, Prince George has had a lot of help from other members of the British monarchy. As we saw recently with our late monarch, Queen Elizabeth, she was very fond of Prince George. Indeed, both the Prince and Princess of Wales are very fond of Prince George, as one can imagine. But it's a difficult time, as we often say here on the show. You see, Prince George has a huge responsibility on his shoulders, whether he wants it or not. And it's how his parents guide him through that particular responsibility that will be key to how the British monarchy moves forward. Whatever people think, though, it's clear to see that Prince George is a very cheeky young man, and long may he continue. When I know more, you'll know more. Reporting from the very heart of London,